What's up, you guys? Welcome back in to iHeartRadio's official wrestling podcast, the Battleground Podcast. It is Battle from Q95 Indies Classic Rock. And of course, you've heard us talking about it. Friday Night SmackDown is coming to Indianapolis. The final SmackDown before the Royal Rumble, January 31st at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Tickets are on sale right now. You can get them at Ticketmaster.com. And coming to us on the show today, good friend of the show. Give it up for Bianca Belair back on the show with us today. Bianca, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I know we talked about the weather beforehand, but we're going to put the weather beside because right now we got to talk about all things Bianca Belair and WWE. And let's kind of dive right into this. You know, we've talked about this before on the show with Love and WWE, your reality TV show with you and Montez, which is on Hulu. Go watch it. You share your personal life with fans and how it's impacted your relationship with Montez and your wrestling career. How is that for you and Montez to pull the curtain back and let people peek into your life other than seeing what they see every week on WWE television?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little different for me. You would think that we would be used to it because we're so used to being in the ring every single week on live TV, which that's a whole other animal of itself of being on live TV. You would think that we would be used to being in front of the cameras, but for me, it was a little bit different. Now you have cameras in your home and they're just following you around, and now they're in it's like I'm not in the ring. What's going on right now? So it was a bit adjustment for me, but we were excited to do it. We were excited to show the world who we were inside the ring and outside the ring, and also show people who aren't necessarily WWE fans what it is like to be a WWE superstar and what it's like to be husband and wife and navigate this together, because it is nonstop. It's wild. It's crazy. And we filmed it actually on the road to WrestleMania, which is where we are now, which is January, and it jump starts with the Royal Rumble, and everybody's fighting to get to WrestleMania. It's the busiest time of the year, and then you get to WrestleMania. So we filmed it during that time, during the busiest time of the year. We had a great time doing it, and but it was some adjustment to have the cameras not just in the ring, but all of a sudden like in your living room and in your bathroom, and it's just people all throughout your house. So, but it was
Mm-hmm.
it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you mentioned that it brings new fans to the product.
hmm
I will tell you that my wife only just watches wrestling and tolerates it because of me and my youngest son. But when she started watching your show and when she watched Total Divas, that's when she started
Yep.
saying, "Okay, well, I see this. Let me check out this." And that's obviously a good thing because you look at
Yep.
what WWE is doing now. It's branching outside of the normal, Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and NXT. They're doing, reality shows. That
Yep.
Cody Rhodes was just with the guys at Dude Perfect, and it's cool to see all things coming together in WWE being a big pop culture moment and icon.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. That was one of our main goals with the show was, not just doing this for our WWE universe and our WWE bubble, but doing it for people that aren't necessarily wrestling fans. And because at the end of the day, my husband was someone who he grew up watching wrestling. Like there's pictures of him when he was 8 years old and he has a WWE title on his shoulder. And I didn't really get into it until I saw Total Divas. It caught my interest, and my brother used to watch it, but I didn't really start watching wrestling until I got in it, and I was about 27 years old. So I never judge anybody who's like, "I don't watch wrestling. That's not for me." And I'm just like, all I need you to do is watch, and you'll fall in love with it. So I really wrestling is cool. Wrestling is dope, and I love when we can go outside of our wrestling bubble and showcase that in different ways. And do the things that we're doing now, like you said, with reality shows. And now we have this deal with Netflix, and I'm thinking that that's going to open more opportunities and show that we are not just wrestlers. Like we're WWE superstars and we do everything. You have more people doing things outside of wrestling, and we're also talented. And you have people acting, you have people doing reality shows, you have people doing clothing brands, you have all these different collaborations. And so it's really cool, like you said, for us to be going outside of the wrestling bubble and bringing more eyes to this product. And you know I feel like when I meet people sometimes before, they would say, "You're a wrestler, you don't like a wrestler." And I'm like, what does that mean? Let's change that, because whatever you think a wrestler is and looks like and should be, that's not what it is anymore. It's evolved and it's different. It was never a bad thing, but it's really cool to see where it's evolving into and venturing out to.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And, like you said, we're on the road to WrestleMania, but I want to jump back to last year. You, Rhea Ripley, the WWE 2K24 cover athletes, along with Cody Rhodes. What does something like that mean? Like, what does that milestone mean to you? And how do you feel it represents the evolution of women's wrestling?
It's a huge milestone. I remember seeing Becky Lynch on the cover and thinking, wow, she's such a icon. She's the GOAT. Like everything is changing. So to now fast forward a couple of years later, and it's not just one woman on the cover, but it's two women on the cover, and I'm on that cover with Rhea Ripley. It's amazing. I mean, for one, of course, like it's, oh yeah, that's me. It's an ego boost, right? But it's really, that's not really what it's about. We're representing this division, we're representing how far it's come and how much it's evolved, and to not just have one woman but have two, and to be on there with someone like Rhea Ripley, it was a surreal moment. My husband actually predicted it like a year earlier. I'm just like, there's no way I'll never be like on the cover of a 2K video game. He's like, listen, I see it. I see the vision, and it happened. And it's something that is a huge. It's just a huge accomplishment. It's representation. It's really just showing, how much this division has evolved and how much the company has evolved. And it's really crazy because it's only the beginning. Like, we're not going to be the last woman on that cover. And I'm just, it's an honor. That's all I can really say. It's an honor. And it's a cool thing to have on my accomplishments and a part of my legacy.
Absolutely. Put that on the resume once you hang up the boots when it's all said and done. Of course, Friday night SmackDown comes to Indianapolis for the final SmackDown before Royal Rumble, January 31st. Gamebridge Fieldhouse tickets are on sale now. Ticketmaster.com. Now, there is a lot of buzz around what recently took place. As a champion, of course, you and Naomi have targets on your back. We now have new number one contenders for those women tag titles. Lash Legend, Jakar Jackson. What are your thoughts about this team, and how do you think you guys will stack up against them?
I will say Lash and Jakar are amazing. They've come to SmackDown and had a few matches. They we had a tag match with them last year, and they're tough. They're tough. Like, and they're a great combination with each other. Lash, she's like the powerhouse, and Jakara is more of like the high flyer. So they're a great tag team, and they came and they were hanging with us. They were hanging with the girls on SmackDown. They went to Saudi Arabia and were a part of the it was us, Lash Jakara, Kyrie Io, and Chelsea and Piper, and they hung all the way to the end. They honestly, anybody could have won that match. So I'm really excited that they're now the number one contenders, and they're going up against me, my tag team partner Naomi. But listen, I'm partnered with a veteran. Naomi has been in the game for 10 plus years. She's a former champion. So us together on the tag team, Last Jakara, they're gonna have to bring it. But it's gonna be a showdown. I'm really, really excited for that match.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we all are excited about that match. And of course, we're also excited about Friday Night SmackDown coming to Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Again, Ticketmaster.com. You can buy your tickets. And, recently with, SmackDown and WWE being in our backyard in Indy, you invited WNBA star Caitlin Clark to participate in the 2025 Royal Rumble. It made headlines. Everybody's talking about it. What inspired the invitation, and how do you see such crossovers enhancing WWE's appeal?
Well, listen, I'm always like WWE. We've seen crossovers from other athletes, from different influencers, and I'm like, I'm waiting for that female crossover to happen. And Caitlin Clark, she's doing big things. The WNBA, they're doing big things. Women over there, she's a goat over there. Women are doing big things over in WWE. So why not invite the goat over to WWE where women are doing big things over here? So I wanted to invite Caitlin Clark, like, come over to WWE, come join the Royal Rumble. And that's what's exciting about the Royal Rumble. You never know who can show up. Like, the Royal Rumble is one of my favorite PLEs. It's 30 women in the ring, women from the past. It could be Hall of Famers, women from the present now they're on the roster, women that are considered the future from NXT. It could be people that aren't even in WWE. Like the possibilities are endless when it comes to Royal Rumble. So I'm like, Caitlin Clark, come on over. You could bring Angel Reese with you too. She, you know, she might throw some bows and she might be the last one standing, but it's like bring over the women are doing big things in WWE, the women are doing big things in WNBA. So why not, let both of the worlds collide and let both of the worlds meet?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And of course, you see a lot of people gravitating towards WWE, not only other athletes outside of WWE, but you have musicians. You've got Bad Bunny
Mhm.
who stepped in the ring, Logan Paul, who was an influencer stepping in.
Yeah.
You've got O'Shea Jackson, Ice Cube's kid, who is
Yeah.
all about wrestling. And one cool thing that a lot of people talked about was WWE recently collaborating with Cardi B for SummerSlam. And how do you feel about integrating mainstream artists into WWE events? I mean, we saw Travis Scott at the debut
Yeah.
of Raw on Netflix. What impact do you think that has on the brand?
I think it has a huge impact on the brand. I mean, you're mixing WWE and pop culture and you're mixing it with hip hop, but it's always, even from when I first started, I always wanted to bring, my culture to the table. And I've always I've always tried to be very intentional with that. But I feel like WWE is so hot right now. Hip hop is so hot right now. And so there's naturally going to be these collaborations and these crossovers. But having Travis Scott be a part of Netflix, that's going to bring even more eyes to the product. Having, Logan Paul, having Bad Bunny, and especially like people like Logan Paul and Bad Bunny who come in and they are doing amazing things and doing PLEs and WrestleManias. Um, it's really cool. And then being a Cardi B being a part of the announcement for SummerSlam and me being able to be a part of that with her. It's exciting for us, we're getting to work with people that, we're fans of. And it's crazy because you meet a lot of people, especially in the hip hop community and influencers and musicians who they're fans of WWE and they know who we are. And I'm like, you know us. You're like, yo, my kids watch you or I watch you. So it's a natural collaboration, but I feel like some people, they don't say that they're wrestling fans until they hear that you're a wrestling fan. And so like it's like, no, wrestling is cool, wrestling is dope. Let's all be loud and proud about this. And I feel like the more that we have people like Travis Scott and Cardi B, the more it's gonna be like, yeah, wrestling's cool, wrestling's dope, and we're all fans of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Friday night SmackDown, the final SmackDown before the Royal Rumble, January 31st. Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Tickets are on sale. Ticketmaster.com. Grab them real quick. And before we let you go, I got one more question for you. The cool thing that we've seen here with WWE is they're giving more opportunities to women's wrestling on TV. I mean, they're main eventing Raw, SmackDown, PLEs. I mean, we just got the United States Championship for the women, the Intercontinental Championship, which we just saw crowned this past
Yeah.
Monday. With the introduction of the U.S. Women's Championship and the Intercontinental Championship for the women's division, how do you see this affecting the women's division? And do you want to add those two titles, obviously, to your resume?
I see it affecting the women's division in such a positive way. Right now, our roster is the best it's ever been. It's the most stacked it's ever been. And I've always said, people say, what do women need to do to get more opportunities? We don't need to do anything. We just need more opportunities because every time we step up, like step in, we step up and we show out. We get those opportunities. So adding these two new titles, it gives so much more room and opportunity for women to showcase themselves. And that's all we want to do. We don't want these opportunities just because we're women. We don't want these spots just because we're women. We want them because we can sell tickets. We want them because we can put the numbers in. We want them because we can put on these 5-star matches. And this is what these women are doing. And it's really giving opportunities too for women who may be new to the scene and they're trying to, get themselves out there. But I think that it's amazing. And yes, like listen, I've been able to accomplish a lot in a very short amount of time. And I've been able to hold a lot of titles. And those two new titles, they're very shiny and pretty. And those women that are holding those titles are amazing women. So anyone that could take those titles from those women that hold those titles right now, that's a huge accomplishment. But yeah, our roster is just so stacked. So we're getting more opportunities because we're showing up and we're showing out.
Absolutely, for sure. And then, of course, you know, there's a lot of speculations of free agents on the horizon that could potentially show up in WWE. So you never know. I mean, I think a lot of people have been kind of looking ahead towards the future, and maybe a Bianca Belair and Jordan Grace matchup could be interesting. We don't know what's going to happen. How Jade is doing with recovery. Of course, we saw the photo with Charlotte backstage with your upcoming opponents with Lash and Jakara. So a lot of things happening in 2025 for WWE, and definitely you got to make sure you're a part of it. Again, January 31st, the final SmackDown before the Royal Rumble. Ticketmaster.com. Go grab those tickets. Bianca, it's always great to have you on the show, and we look forward to seeing a great 2025 for you.
Thank you. Super excited for this year.